Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Everybody, Jeff. Listen, tonight I had quite a little experience going on at the restaurant, Chili's tonight, and I think I want to share this with you because there were two ways that this could have ended up. Okay, this could have ended up being another one of them Lewiston shootouts there that happened in Maine not long ago, and but because I was involved here in this, I felt it was my responsibility to try to keep things to a dull roar. So this is what happened. Tonight I went to have a dinner over at Chili's, and I got there at about 4 o'clock, I guess. And I was eating, and this homeless guy comes in, not in the front door, but the side door where the takeouts are, I guess. He come in and he had 3 great big bags with him. One slung on his shoulder. He had a bag inside of a bucket and another big duffel bag tied to his waist. Like a big long rope or something tied to his waist. And he came in and he wanted some chips and beer, something like that. And he sat down next to me at the table. But I had one of them ear things on, and I was listening to something on YouTube. So I didn't give him any attention right off. So I was sitting here eating and watching a program on YouTube while I was eating. This is what I commonly do because I eat alone, and I feel like I should be occupied instead of just sitting there staring at people. So I was eating, and the guy they gave him some chips and a drink or something, and just eating, and he was using his phone, and he was watching stuff on his phone. So I guess about 20 minutes goes by, and I pretty much finish what I was eating, and the guy said something to me, and I can't remember what exactly he said, but, I kind of took my thing off, and I said, "Excuse me," because I didn't hear him. And he was saying something about the drink that he had or something, that it had a crown on it or some damn thing. I don't know. See, I don't drink alcohol. I can't because I'm on medication. So when people talk to me about fucking drinks, I don't know. I know you're talking over my head because I don't know. Okay, I have no experience with that. So I just like nodded and okay, and then all of a sudden, he felt like he should start talking to me, and I was like, okay. So I felt like, well, I need to shut this off, and I just sat and listened to him, and he was talking to me about some job that he had when he was younger, where he ran a web page that sponsored groups that play video games at events. I think I'm saying this right. He created a sponsorship for that. And he knew 4 or 5 bigwigs in this enterprise that goes on in our country, okay? I don't know anything about it because I'm not into this stuff, okay? I play video games like the original Xbox. That's what I know about video games. After that, what happened after that, I don't know. So he was talking over my head. But he said he was doing that for a job, okay? So he was making some pretty decent money. He was showing me some pictures of himself at the time he was working this job, and he looked quite a bit younger than he did today. I'm guessing, about 20 years younger. He said he graduated high school in 99, or was it 99? I think it was 99. Okay, and he started working in the early 2000s at this thing, okay? And then I'm trying to put this together, what I can remember, because it was a very big ball of stuff that he was telling me. And then he said he got this job, and he was doing well with it, making good money, And that's when everything started to fall apart, okay? It's just like every damn Lifetime story you ever hear, okay? All right, but I'm just going along listening. I'm not saying much, okay? I'm just listening. And he's telling me about how people were after him, and that his wife was trying to poison him by spraying stuff in his face while he was sleeping, and that her mother did the same thing. No, his mother did the same thing to his father, tried to kill him, okay? Jesus, I mean, there's a lot to kind of remember here. But essentially, eventually he lost his job. Something bad happened, he lost his job. And on top of that, he said that people that he worked for were after him for something. Okay, I can't remember what it is. He told me what it was. I'm going to tell you right now, I got a bad memory. Okay, I've always had a bad memory. I don't know why that is. I just can't remember everything. Tomorrow I'll probably even remember less than what I'm telling you right now. Okay. So what I'm telling you right now is what I can remember at this time. But I know he spun me 4 hours worth of stuff. Okay, so I can't possibly remember that unless I have a very good memory. So I'm sorry if I'm not making any sense. He did tell me, however, while he was talking, that he had schizophrenia. Okay, he was at least honest to me about that, which kind of put some of the pieces of this mess together with the glue of schizophrenia, which means he could be, suffering with this so bad that he thinks people are after him. My father was suffering with that as I grew up, okay? So I kind of, I could kind of understand, relate a little bit to this guy, because I spent most of my life listening to the ramblings of my own father, thinking the FBI was after him all the time because he had a ham radio in his garage, okay? So this guy was telling me that people were after him, and he had information somewhere that if anything ever happened to him, if they killed him or something, that this information would be sent to the press and all the dominoes would fall and they would bring down everybody. Now, doesn't that sound like a very, very Hollywood-esque kind of story? Of course it does. I've seen this story before. Does it mean it's true? I can't say for certain, yes or no, but it does sound suspiciously like schizophrenia at its best, okay? That being said, the guy was nice, intelligent, okay? He didn't speak like a bum, okay? He spoke very well. Better than I do, in fact, because when I do my videos, you know how I speak, but he spoke better English than I did. But so I could tell he's educated. He's also a person who's been around this country because he had an accent, southern accent, like maybe Georgian, from Atlanta or something like that. He's been down there. He said he was in Las Vegas. He was in Denver, Colorado, Chicago. He's been all over this country, okay? Which means he whatever job he was doing probably sent him around to different places, okay? And I think, being homeless, he's probably been around. He says he's only been in Maine for a couple of months, so he didn't really know his way around Bangor very well. But when I told him about the casino, he got really, there's a, so I'm thinking, okay, this guy's got no money, but he's sitting excited over a casino. So again, a piece of evidence there, or something to put a note on. Okay, he likes to gamble. Maybe he got into Las Vegas and he got into trouble there, and maybe that's who's after him. I don't know. If there's any truth to that at all, I don't know. Okay. The story itself doesn't really matter. This is what mattered, though, in this thing tonight. People in the restaurant were getting pissed off listening to this guy. Okay. So much so that one guy come up behind me, tapped me on the back, and slapped a goddamn napkin on the table, and on the napkin was written, "Do you really believe this drug addict is telling you the truth?" He wrote it down with a pen on a napkin, and he's put that there. I knew right then, okay, I started to look around in the restaurant, and I could see people looking at me, looking at him, and tempers were getting hot, okay? The staff there couldn't do anything. He wasn't fighting with nobody, and he wasn't making any problems, so they couldn't throw him out, okay? But I was in the middle of this, between the customers and the staff, And I knew from dealing with my father and his schizophrenia that you don't step on their feet. If you do anything that crosses them or slights them in any way, all of a sudden now you're the problem, okay? And they're going to start arguing and fighting with you, and then before you know it, things get out of control. I just took the note and folded it up and put it in my pocket. But the fellow I was talking to knew something was written there, and he just said, "Oh, so they don't want it." I couldn't deny it. I just said, "Well, he doesn't want. He hears too much what's going on." Okay, and he just kind of laughed and he says, "Yeah, I know people are always disagreeing with me, always saying I'm lying or something, but I don't care." Okay. So we kept talking. Eventually, the guy got up and left. Okay. He was a big man too, by the way. Jesus, I mean, he looked like a pulp cutter. But I just didn't start anything. Okay. And then after a while, he started gathering his things, and he was saying, "Okay, I got to go outside." So he took his stuff and he went outside. Okay. Then I felt, okay, he's gone now. After he left, the bartender come up to me and said, "Jesus, I didn't think that guy was ever going to leave. He stunk, and he just wouldn't shut up. He was here, it's 8 o'clock, Jeff." And I'm like, "I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that I didn't, I said, I know, I just didn't want to do anything to set this guy off, okay, to make him pissed. I don't know what he had in those bags, okay? He might have had a fucking gun in there for all I know. I'm not going to start another problem that's going to end up like Lewiston." And they didn't say anything. But the other customers in there were looking at me, and I said, "I'm sorry to everybody in here that I kept this guy in here." I said, "But I felt that the best thing was just to appease him, let him think that he's talking to somebody that cares about what he's saying, and then let him talk himself tired, okay, and he'll leave." And that's what I thought happened, okay? So, people just, they just, and then they started going to eating their own food and stuff like that, and again, I said I apologized to the bartender, and she understood. She knew I was kind of caught in the middle of it, but it was just driving her nuts because she wanted to do dishes or something, and we were sitting near the sink, okay, and the guy stunk, and she didn't want to do the dishes, okay. Well, I turned around, started to finish my drink, and he walks back in, bags and all, and I was like, Jesus Christ, okay. So then he sat down, and then I figured, you know what? He's not going to leave until I do, because he knows I'm going to listen. And when somebody with schizophrenia knows that you're going to listen to their ramblings, they're not going to let go of your ear until they're completely exhausted. Okay? So he started in. He had more videos to show me of what he did and stuff like that. And I said, it's getting late. I have to go because I got a cat I got to feed and everything and stuff, which I did. Okay. And he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't want to hold you up or anything." I said, "But look, good luck to you, and I hope you resolve this whole thing you're in. And like I said, I wish I could help you, but I really, I said, you're talking to somebody that can't really help you with any of this. It's way over my head, but I hope you can find some resolution here so you can get back on your feet." And he said, "Thank you," and all that. And then I just left. Okay. But that situation could have gone down a whole different way if somebody that wasn't me had less patience with the guy and decided to, get the fuck out of him, and what would have happened if that guy had a gun? He could have whipped that out and just shot everybody up, because, everybody's after me. Because he was telling me that. He told me he's schizophrenic. He was telling me people were after him. I mean, all the signs were there that this guy could be dangerous, okay? But, my way of dealing with somebody like that is just to appease them, listen to them, ask them questions like you really care about what they're saying, and it fooled everybody in the restaurant because I think they all thought I was buying this guy's shit when I wasn't, okay? I was just reading into what this guy was telling me to see what could be true and what can't be true, okay? But I wasn't really listening to the story to see, what's going, I'm just hearing this guy out, hearing, what I feel is like the trouble he's going through, okay? And I felt like he was telling me things that were really symptoms of his schizophrenia. Now, I got schizophrenia, but not to that level, okay? I get like that, if somebody looks at me in a way that I feel like, why don't they like me? Okay. Or if somebody says something to me and I take it the wrong way and they don't like me. Okay. My schizophrenia is like that. I also have obsessive compulsive disorder, where I constantly check doors and make sure they're locked and stuff like that. Okay. I think that's kind of tied into it. Okay. So I do have that, but I can recognize it when it's happening. It's just a bitch to control because it's like Tourette's syndrome in a way. You feel it in your fingertips or something, like you've got to do this, but you checked it, but it's not enough that you checked it. You have to check it again. Okay, and so I take medication to take the edge off it. Sometimes I can fight it, sometimes I can't. Sometimes I have to put my shoes back on, run out the door, go back to the parking lot, check the doors on the truck, make sure the one's locked, the other one's locked. Okay, sometimes it does work that I find out I didn't lock a door, and all that does is just justify me to continue doing the same shit. Okay, so you see, it's a good thing and a bad thing all at the same time. Okay, but it's not a comfortable thing to live with because you're always on your fucking nerves all the time, and like I said, I don't have a very good memory, and sometimes if I can't remember locking a thing, then I don't bother to fight it. That I'm just by habit. I do allow myself to go out and check because I can't remember. Okay, so it is not painful, but it's a pain in the ass is what it is. It's an annoying habit that I got, and it seems to get worse as I get older. But but the schizophrenia part, I can understand that because my father had it in a bad way. I got it in a milder way, and this guy's got it too, but not as bad as my father had it. Okay, but I think he needs some medication. He needs to be a whole lot better. Okay, and I think if he could get access to some medication and maybe a little therapy or something, he could be a benefit to other homeless people because he's smart enough. Okay, he seems to know how to gather people to do things for a cause. Okay, he could help a whole bunch of other homeless people. So I feel like, this is a guy that could benefit so many other people. By helping him, you'd help a whole bunch of others if you could get him into the system, because he's, like I said, he's intelligent. But tonight, like I said, I had to lay this out because I'm hoping that maybe some of you out there watching this who don't know how to deal with something, if you were put in that position, maybe this might help you to learn how to deal with it. Okay, that you got to tiptoe lightly around people that you think might be troubled, and you have to act helpful even if you don't want to, because we can't afford to be brutal, to be insultive, because you don't know what that's going to lead to. And I think that if you just go around stepping on people's necks all the time, eventually they're going to step back on you and you might not get up. And tonight I felt like it was one of them times where I wasn't scared to death, but the possibility that guy might have a weapon is there. They don't check people at the door at this restaurant to see if they're bringing in weapons. Okay, but when a guy's bringing in that many bags, you think, hey, you maybe ought to look. I bring a bag when I go in there, but my bag is just full of things for my phone, like extra battery packs or whatever. I bring, I got a habit of being prepared for every contingency. So I got, stuff for my cell phone, accessories. Okay, it's not a big bag, it's a small bag, and they've seen what I got in there when I take the stuff out. But like I said, when a guy walks into a restaurant, he's got all those bags, you have to wonder, what's he got in there? Okay, why is he dragging all this shit inside? Okay, yeah, that's all his belongings, but is one of them belongings a gun? It's too easy for people to get one these days, so you have to always wonder about that. So, I know it could be a challenge for a lot of people to be as patient as I was for that many hours, okay? And I guess it comes from having to grow up with people that you just had to learn the hard way to be patient. And I can just sit there like my grandfather used to, my father's father, and just listen and listen and listen and listen and listen, and it just goes in one ear and out the other. I can detach from myself that way. I can look like I'm listening to you, but not be listening to you. I've learned that over the years. It was a skill that I mastered, I think, when I got in the military, because a lot of times when you was in the military, you were being told stuff that just wasn't worth listening to, okay? And I just learned to think about other things and, enjoy the time sitting there doing nothing, listening to nothing. And people would just think I was weird because, I could even stand and forget I was standing, and just be somewhere else mentally, and I wouldn't even realize that, my legs were getting tired. I just have that ability to just detach from the moment. But like I said, with this guy here, I kind of detached, but then I was kind of listening a little bit about what he was saying when he started bringing up things like, people being after him and stuff like that. So, yeah, I can't recall everything he told me, but basically that's what he was saying. But that wasn't really important what he was saying. What I'm saying was that this was a guy who was troubled, could be a potential problem, a dangerous problem, and there wouldn't have been any time to call the cops to get there to stop it if he decided to pull that gun out and start shooting. Okay, it would have happened too fast, and nobody would have been able to dial 911 in time to save one single person, let alone me. So I was the one in the middle between a potential problem and dead bodies tonight. Okay, and maybe I'm overstating the matter. Okay, I'm just saying it is a possibility. In this day and age, you can't rule it out, unfortunately. Just like you can't go to school and think that nobody's going to end up dead today. You always have to plan ahead. I mean, that's how we survive as a species, is by thinking ahead, planning about what could happen and how we can have a contingency against it. Like, if we have a thunderstorm, to stay out from under the tall trees or something. You know what I'm saying? You have to know this day, we have to navigate our world in a different way because it's so much more violent than it ever used to be. And nobody wants to get shot dead. No kid wants to die. So if you don't want to die, then this is how you got to be. You have to look at situations and gauge them on a scale of possibility. And that's what I did tonight. So I'm hoping everybody can understand that and understand or learn something a little bit about how you can, placate somebody to give another person time to call the police if they think they should. And if you can keep the person talking and keep them interested in talking about what's bothering them or something like that, that could buy those precious moments that you need to save people from getting shot. Okay, and who knows. So anyway, that's it for tonight. I hope you all have a great rest of the week. So take care. Oh, and happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.